Hello everyone. Oh, my name is Corina, also known as Cori.eve or 0x Corina. Oh, I think there's some issue on the... Oh, okay, great. So I am newly the new head of growth at the Defiance since last week. And I also have my own consulting company. It's called Beehive Consulting, and we consult Web3 startups on developing their growth strategy. Previously, I was at MakerDAO, and I worked with all of these different brands and products. So you are here to, maybe because you don't fully understand marketing. I've met a lot of different founders who get a little bit confused about all the different marketing tactics that they have to do. So I'm here today to explain to you the differences between the tactics and basically what is the best way for you to do it. And by the way, I highly recommend that you take pictures of the slides because I'm not going to be reading everything off of the slides. I have way too little time to tell you everything that I want to share. So we're going to start with what is branding and what is marketing and what's the difference between the two. Very shortly, branding is about making your brand memorable, but marketing is about making your brand seen, so raising awareness. Branding is about the why, marketing is about the how. Branding is about the more long-term goals, and marketing is about the short-term goals. Marketing is micro, branding is about the macro view over things. Marketing is about tactics, and branding is about the direction. So this is very important for us today, because one of the first things that I want to, this is probably a model that you've heard about before. It is about starting with why. And in life in general and in business, it's very important to define a why for everything that we do. And in business especially. So the why is basically the purpose of your product or your business model. The how is the process, and the what is the product or service. And I'm going to explain to you why this why is really important for you when you're in an early stage startup especially. And even if you have built a product that's been on the market for quite some time, but you don't have a why, you should really start a brainstorming session and start to thinking about your why. We need the why to create a mission statement and to create our messaging, basically. Here are some examples of mission statements and slogans. The thing is that the mission statement really makes your brand memorable. This is one of the branding tactics that we use. And this is a very fun theory, sort of, that I found when I was studying marketing and branding. The question is, how do cult leaders manage to build cults? And the truth is that what they sell is hope. And when we look at the biggest brands in history, and we look at the most successful products that have managed to reach a lot of people and build really, really loyal communities, these are the type of products that manage to sell hope about the fact that this product is really going to change your life. And this is another quote that I really, really like. It says, "People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies." And here we have an actual example, and this is all about defining the intrinsic value versus the perceived value of your product. So these are two examples with Bitcoin and Cardano. Who here is a fan of Bitcoin? Okay. Who here is a fan of Cardano? Yeah. I don't think we have a lot of Cardano fans in the conference, but the truth is that they have an incredibly huge community. So this is the question: why do they have such a big community and such a loyal community and so many ambassadors? Like, what is going on with Cardano? And I think this is a pretty good explanation, because Cardano and Bitcoin managed to encourage people's dreams. These are some pieces of the ideologies behind Bitcoin and Cardano. In Bitcoin, for example, we have justify their failures. So Bitcoin is all about, look, legacy system is centralized and rigged, and this is not working. We need something else. The Cardano example for throwing rocks at their enemies is like, look, Bitcoin and Ethereum failed with proof of work, so this is why we built Cardano with proof of stake. And confirming people's suspicions and allaying their fears with, look, Bitcoin is decentralized and immune compared to all the other chains and everything else that's going on in this financial market. Cardano had a really good idea of saying, look, regulation in the US is kind of really weird right now. We're just going to go to Africa and build everything there and build a community. And they managed to do it really well. So yeah, I think this is really an interesting example of how we can look at the importance of our why and our mission statement and the way we communicate our value to the people. And I think it's really important for you, regardless of the type of product you have, to sit down and create a mission, vision, and purpose. And if you don't have one, again, just do a brainstorming session, please, with your team and think about this. So this is important because eventually you're going to use this mission, vision, and purpose in everything that you do in your marketing, in your BD, in your presentations, everywhere. So as a founder, you say it in interviews. As a BD, when you go to events and you do presentations, you say it there. Just find your own mission statement. For example, we're building the LinkedIn of Web3 or whatever, or the Facebook of Web3. And just put it everywhere. Put it in posts, in swag, in media articles, everywhere. It's all about making people memorize it. I think this is what you must be quite familiar with. It's you have to also understand the crypto culture and your target audience. The crypto culture is really interesting. It's not nearly as serious as the financial culture, but it's not fully. Yeah, it's more like degen, but not fully. We have some super intelligent people around here, very interesting. So you have to kind of hit the right spot when in your marketing tactics. Basically, your channels are Discord and crypto Twitter, maybe sometimes LinkedIn, especially if your audience includes some institutional clients. Crypto podcasts and YouTube channels, crypto media, basically. These are the main channels that you might have. Your audience has a meme culture. They're in it for the technology, most of them. They're conference goers, a lot of them hodlers and stakers and traders. And the Web3 values, these are not all of them, obviously, but just for the sake of it, the Web3 values are that transparency is crucial. Just DAO it, people really appreciate decentralization and distributed like voting power. Plug and play tech integrations. I noticed that a lot of products are trying to make things as simple as possible with plug and play. Developers first, and it's all about having an inclusivity in the community. All right, so let's move on to how to actually build your strategy. First and foremost, you really have to define your values. So as a consultant, I consult a lot of startups and founders who are really early stage, pre-seed, or they're in the first round of funding. And very often they already have an MVP, they have a great product, but they don't know how to explain the value of that product besides to anyone else besides a really technical person. And the truth is that you need to explain it to non-technical people as well, because you're going to have to deal with BDs and other founders and do partnerships with other people that are non-technical. So that's really important. And this is all about, the first step is all about understanding and defining how does your product make people's life easier, and why is it important in the ecosystem. The second part is defining your target groups. We discussed this earlier today in a marketing panel, that a really common mistake that people do is that they just don't define the right target groups. And sometimes they have an opportunity for a target group, but they decide to leave it out, even though this is the kind of people they would attract. So it's really important to understand your target groups and prioritize them and see also in the future predict how will those target groups change once you add some new features or once you make some other collaborations. The third one is researching your options. So look at all the channels and opportunities, look at the media, look at all the ways that you could use marketing with, and where does your group hang out and where should you be. Another problem that I see, or another common mistake that I see people doing in marketing, is that they try to be everywhere, all over the place, all the time. And very often these are very small teams with like 2 marketing people and 1 BD, and they just cannot physically be everywhere. So they don't manage to actually achieve a lot because of that. And the fourth part is aligning your message. This is something we discussed with the mission statement. Pick your battles. Again, yeah, make a plan where you just pick 2 or 3 channels that are most important for you and 4 strategic actions to focus on at first. Don't try to be everywhere all the time. Just start small. And then the 6th one is make a long-term plan, but add short-term actions. So strategizing about the brand is really important long-term, and making sure you build a memorable brand, but you also need some short-term games. And I personally, I recommend the 80-20 rule, where you do 20% branding and 80% marketing. These are some general strategic actions that usually you can take in crypto, regardless of the type of product that you have. We have 3 categories. We have the product marketing, PR and media, and we have branding. As I said, the product marketing is more about like the short-term games, and the branding is more about like the long-term stuff. PR media also falls into more long-term category. But these are most of the actions in general that you can do. All right, and just, get creative. Another really common thing that I notice with startups and with founders is that they think there's a blueprint for absolutely everyone, and they just try to do what everybody else is doing. And very often they also have a product that is not extremely innovative, so they probably don't compete a lot on don't manage to differentiate themselves. So try to find ways to differentiate yourself by maybe having like a creative session once a month where people actually throwing some crazy ideas for your marketing strategy. And this is an example of generally how you could distribute your energy and your resources in terms of your growth strategy. And this is obviously not set in stone, but it's a general perception of what I would do based on the consulting that I did so far with most startups, is investing in strategic partnerships, some branding, some developer relations. I put 25% here the most because usually Web3 products are developer focused. Speaking and networking at conferences, media appearances, and product marketing. Also, on the content and social media side, the thing is that the most important part you need to remember is that you just need to establish yourself as a leader or as an authority. And in order to do that, basically, you simply need to take certain steps where you don't just share announcements about whatever you're doing in with your partnerships or the new updates and the new features the protocol or the product has, but also kind of show that you know what you're doing and you're really a leader and you know the space and the ecosystem around you. So make some, maybe go to conferences, give interviews, speak, take speaking engagements and send out a newsletter or write a blog post or something, and just show that you as a team or you as a founder really know what you're doing and you know a little bit more than others maybe and a little bit more than your competition. So yeah, basically be helpful. Don't just post to post, but say something important. Engage with your audience, stay relevant and up to date, and answer questions with your own unique perspective. So basically add your own touch to everything. You need to become the person that everyone else is repeating, or the protocol or the product that everyone else is repeating. And this is good for both personal brand and the business brand. All right, and here are some general ideas about how to set goals and how to pick the right tactics for your strategy. So I personally prefer to start from the goals, and I prefer to also distinguish them between distinguish the branding from the marketing side, so the long term from the short term things. And these are just a few examples, but you can have a list of like 100 different goals that you want to achieve. And I would start with just the exact goals that I want to have. For example, I'm a very new startup. I just closed the round and nobody really knows about me. We have maybe 2 people in our marketing team and we're doing some things with social media, but we don't have like a lot going on. And let's say I really want to appear in the media. And a tactic for that would be establishing good relationships with the media. And it doesn't matter where you do it. It could be also like here at the conference, you ask around who's a journalist around here. And you go and talk to this journalist and you get their telegram. And another one would be produce content as a guest writer and go on podcasts. I am saying this, most of these things actually again, are very like strategic actions in case we're in a bear market right now. And what's happening is that a lot of startups, even if they got funding, they don't really want to spend a lot of money on different marketing campaigns and something really big and huge raves and parties at conferences and so on. We all have to be really careful and strategic right now, but we also don't want to die and for nobody to hear about us until the summer comes back. So this is all about, doing something strategically, because to appear in the media, you could also pay like 5,000 to a PR agency, and they can make sure that you appear in the media. But if you're just a little bit more strategic about your actions, you can save those 5,000 and invest them somewhere else, and just do these things basically yourself. Once again, it's all about working smarter than harder in this case. Maybe also you want to improve product marketing and development. This is very good for hackathons. I mean, hackathons are very good for that, and developer calls and asking for feedback on the product. Asking for feedback, by the way, this is not just about me asking people's opinions and getting feedback for my product. It's also about making people feel like their opinion matters. And that's super important. Mostly marketing is about people and understanding people. And remember that while you're here, even if your job is to code for 24 hours, you're still building for people. So it's all about selling to people and understanding how people think. All right, and some final tips from my side. Start with why, as I said, and make your message, vision, and narrative very clear. Facilitate creative thinking in your team. Look into outsourcing the work instead of postponing a marketing action. Sometimes, you can hire freelancers and agencies, for example, for events. Get creative and experiment, especially with your online presence. For example, I'm going to give you an example from Maker. So I was working at Maker in the growth team last year, and I joined Maker when the foundation dissolved and the DAO has just started. And because of legal limitations, we didn't have access to social media, to like the MakerDAO official Twitter, the LinkedIn. We didn't have a lot of stuff, and Maker was kind of dormant for half a year. We were not posting anything. We're not in the media, no events, no nothing. So when I joined, we had to start the strategy from scratch into all of these different tactics. It was like Twitter, there was PR strategy and events and everything else. And we had to also get creative. So for example, we had we created the POAP collection just for the people who have been with Maker for a long time, and they had the vaults in Maker, just to kind of say thank you to our community. And it just so happened that the designer decided to make the POAPs, like the visuals, as trees. And then we introduced like a brainstorming session every week, and we were like, hey, if we're giving people these trees, why don't we go and plant some actual trees for the the POAPs that we're giving people. So depending on how big is your vault and what type of POAP you get, when you claim it, you automatically print a certain number of trees, and we collaborated with One Tree Planted for that. So, this is a very small thing, and it didn't cost us a lot, but that is one way to get more creative and give something that's a little bit of more value. Because when the person receives this POAP, it's not just the POAP, it's like, oh, I kind of contributed to the outside world as well, so that's really cool. Yeah. So also always involve your community a lot, ask for feedback and create incentives. Be very strategic about what you're sponsoring, especially for conferences. Sometimes some events or conferences could be overpriced depending on your specific target group. For example, if your product is aimed at developers, then maybe you shouldn't go to sponsor a conference for 20,000. That's for institutions. Yeah. And focus on doing research on market news, new products, protocols, trends, and so on. Collect analytics, by the way, also about your users as much as you can, and use the results to retarget them for marketing campaigns and PR. And the last one is if you distribute swag, then do something makes something that everybody wants to wear, aka make it look cool. I've been to maybe 15 conferences already in crypto, and everybody has the same kind of swag. And what happens is that this is free stuff. These are just free t-shirts. And I'm not gonna go home every time with 10 free t-shirts if I get them for free. I'm probably gonna pick either a t-shirt that represents the brand I'm really loyal to. So if you ever went to an Aave booth, it's always like a huge queue at the Aave booth because everybody wants to wear Aave. Either I'm gonna pick a swag that says something really funny and cool, and I'm proud to wear it. So yeah, that was me. Thank you very much, and I have 5 minutes for questions.
Yeah, Corina, thank you very much. Which projects can you name your best in marketing perspective or brand perspective? So you mentioned that you pick some lovely brands, so can you name them?
Okay, I'm not going to say necessarily my personal favorite, but in terms of what they achieve. Actually, Aave is one of my personal favorite. I absolutely love everything that they've managed to do because everybody knows Aave, but not everybody uses Aave. That is the thing, it's all about making your brand known. I love, love, love very much 1inch because they have this they're a unicorn that came out of a hackathon, and they used it in their branding, and they have the unicorn absolutely everywhere in their visuals. So everywhere in crypto, if I see a unicorn, I'm gonna know this is 1inch everywhere.
Not Uniswap?
Oh, actually, yeah. See, for me, yeah, you're right. I never even looked at Uniswap very much, but I would say 1inch just does a lot more marketing, and it's in my face a lot more.
Parties.
That as well. Yeah. That was a very good point. Yeah, if I see a unicorn, I would probably think more about 1inch than Uniswap. It's true.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Hi, so what do you think is the difference between doing marketing during the bear market and doing marketing during the bull market? So currently I would say the DeFi space and crypto in general is kind of, losing liquidity, not that many users, all the protocols are actually just exchanging TVL, basically users going from one protocol. So it's the same users, just they're going around the protocols. So is there a difference between this period and really the bull market when everyone is super excited about everything?
Yeah, there's a very big difference. First of all, the budgets. And second, The thing is that in the bull market, we have a lot of newcomers. We have a huge wave of people who heard about the fact that Bitcoin pumped in the news, and they're like, oh my God, I wanted to invest in crypto 3 years ago. Let me start now. So they start researching, and they go to trading platforms, and then those trading platforms do some other co-marketing with other platforms, and like it starts like it's a flow that's starting, a flow of newcomers. And in the bear market, we don't have them. Maybe we have this like the followers that follow us from the last bull market, but they're not as interested anymore. And the bear market is all about, first of all, preparing for the bull, so preparing the brand and maybe not doing as much marketing tactics because it's not going to work very well. And second one, it's about serving the current audience that stick with you so far in the bear market, that's like still here, still interested in crypto, and looking at how can you provide more value for those.
Okay, thank you a lot. So I think that the strategies you have presented here are great for like 100 and plus companies, but what about low caps that mostly live on Telegram and Discord groups?
Then I think the focus would be a lot more, sorry, what did you mean by low caps?
Small companies.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, then... Are you asking me how to market shitcoins? You want me to give out all the secrets today? Yeah, honestly, I haven't really worked with these kind of projects a lot. I focus more on projects that build like products for the ecosystem, but I would assume that the biggest, it's all about community engagement and incentivizing the community a lot. Maybe creating like referral programs and different programs where you like make these different, you know, Chainlink, they have these link marines. It's like Taylor Swift has Swifties and Beyonce has the Beehive, and the same way Chainlink has like Link Marines. And they have, I looked at it today, they have like a huge leaderboard, and depending on, I don't know how much link you have maybe, or how much you're involved in the community, you have a certain status. And they have an insanely engaged community. Like Chainlink is everywhere. If you just write link on Twitter right now in a post, and you're gonna get a bunch of people commenting at your post. So I guess it's all about focusing on your community and creating certain ways to make them feel like their opinion matters and they matter in your community.
Awesome. Okay, so I think that the last one.
Great presentation, by the way. Thanks.
Thank you.
And yeah, I was just thinking that someone before asked how the face of the market influences the marketing, and does it also can work the other way around? Namely, can marketing influence somehow the face of the market? Like, is it even possible that you put so much effort into marketing and actually you change a bit the face, let's say, or?
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like the influence from the marketing to the market comes from much, much bigger companies that have a lot more influence. So, for example, if like Elon Musk tweets tomorrow that he's gonna put Twitter on the Ethereum blockchain or whatever, then Ethereum's gonna pump like this, right? So, yeah. I don't know to what extent like small companies or small businesses can influence the market a lot, but it's more of a cumulative effect, I would say, that takes more time.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
very
Corina.
much.